Welcome back, Guardian, to episode 7 of Guardian Bootcamp. Every time I make a video, I always want it to be something that you can't get anywhere else, and you have some kind of information that is just, valuable to learn, basically, and that's the purpose of this video. I did a no-HUD solo of this Nightfall you're going to see yesterday, but it actually wasn't intended to be a no-HUD solo video. I was just in there gathering footage for this video that I'm making today, so I just basically put it all together with the no-HUD footage and how I learned everything, and I thought, this might not be a video for everybody, but if you're wanting to get into soloing, which is really what's going to turn you into Ultimate Beast Mode, this video should help do it. I just felt it was important for me to step-by-step guide you the way that I guided myself through this, and explain some things that, will help you out when you're doing, your own, solo trial or whatever, and that is that everybody practices a solo. When you're trying to do like a timed run or a beast run, you're not going to go through and just slam through it the whole time. You have to figure out a ton of things, such as right here, my whole goal right here is just to figure out the rhythm of every champion that I'm going to be facing this Nightfall, because once I figure them out, the rest of it is just going to be ad gameplay. So I just have to figure out how many shots it's going to take, when I throw a grenade out, how many Telesto can I get out before it shields up. If I don't use a grenade, how many Telesto shots till it shields up? Can I fit in a melee, in between this? How do they move? There's like so many things that I wanted to figure out about these specific champions, so that by the time I get in my actual battle and, start figuring out the runs and, speed clearing the areas, I already know how to take them out the most effective way. So we're going to show the gameplay of this a lot here. So I threw the grenade out, I know that I have 2 Telesto shots, and then it's going to shield up. The reason why I recommend a pitted magazine is because you're going to need all 17 of those rounds if you get off your rhythm at least 1 or 2 shots, basically. This gun has a stock 15, so having the 17 plus the mulligan as well, which we're going to get all into mulligan later on in the battle when I show you various techniques and the strategies that can happen and how random combat can be sometimes. But when it comes to the champions altogether, you're going to have to know, based on your loadout, what the rhythm of your champion is going to be, because they're always going to shield up at a specific amount of health on their meter, but your weapon might take it off slower or faster, or the rhythm of how your weapons are going to play out is what I'm getting at. And I know that I can always get 3 shots after I stagger it once and then bust it, but basically what I'm getting at is every weapon loadout is going to have a set rhythm to that loadout on when they're going to shield up and how many shots you get in between each shield up phase. I'm going to show a lot of gameplay of this just so you can familiarize yourself if you plan on using the same loadout, or if you even plan on using a different loadout, you still understand the concept of what I'm getting at. You're not going to know this the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes of playing this Nightfall, especially if you're under light, but the more that you keep doing this, the more that you realize there is a specific rhythm every time. A golden rule you'll always need to remember is to make sure that you always reload your weapons every time you're done busting their shield, because you don't want it to come back around where you don't have ammo in your magazine and then they start shielding up to get all their health back again. It just becomes a real headache, so always know that. Once you've figured out their mechanics and stuff, you can start adding in things like a melee right after you reload. So watch, I'm going to bust the shield. I just shot it with Telesto, it shields up. I reload first, then I do a melee, then I back up, hit a Telesto, I see the finisher pop up, so I do the finisher. So you'll start noticing these cues that happen, and you'll start knowing to do things like this where you can actually manipulate them and make them melee at you. And sometimes by doing this, you can either get a split second to get away, to back to cover or something like that, or you can get them to melee to stop them from putting their shield up to maybe get another melee in or another Telesto shot to do a little bit extra damage. This is all stuff that will just unlock later on. The more you fight these champions, the more tips and strategy and just tactic you'll be able to learn to do combo DPS that maybe you didn't know the first 20 minutes you started fighting them, but 30 minutes or an hour later, just however much practice you want to put into it, the more you put into it, the more you realize you can just jump all around these champions. They're not really that bright at what they're doing. They don't even hit that hard, honestly, and you can see here I'm not even trying to kill the champion. I'm just literally learning his mechanic, how he walks around and how I can just keep jumping around him, and they're not even that big of a threat. It's just rhythm. And once you learn all this stuff, they're not an intimidation factor at all. You can just come up in here and slay all over them. All you gotta do is learn their rhythm, learn how they move, learn how hard they hit, learn how to make them melee. There's just so many things you can learn about them just by sitting in this first room of the Nightfall. And by the time you figure this part out, the rest of the Nightfall really becomes a cake. But that's what we're gonna move into next, is the next area of this Nightfall. One thing you'll see a lot of people do is they'll always stay back in this cave on this first area, and that's kind of one of the no-nos you don't want to do, because you don't want to get the Minotaur starting to boom at you, because once they start booming at you, you've pretty much lost that area. What you want to do is you want to bum rush them, whether it be a fusion rifle or grenade, take those first few out to where they drop the attrition, and then hop in the middle to where the Minotaur only wants to melee you. Once you get them in a melee sequence like this, they don't try to shoot you at all, and you can just play up close with them and stuff like that, because you want them to melee you, because the melee is the weakest factor that they have. And you see that one back there, sometimes that will happen, but the first two Minotaur, you always want to get them to try to rush you and go aggro mode, because once you do that, you pretty much just let them come to you, try to melee. You can plant traps with Telesto when they're running towards you. They land in those traps and blow themselves up, or you can just really jump all around them. But it's important to always run in there with a grenade, take the first 3 goblins out, and then let the Minotaur try to rush you to melee. Because once they start booming at you, you're just going to have one hell of a time trying to take out the champion and the Minotaur at that point. And once you own this area that I'm in right now, that's when you're able to head glitch this champion right here, and basically the champ can't hit you the entire time. You just do your 2 Telesto shots or your 3, depending on if you threw a grenade nodder first. Just the rhythm that you've learned with the weapons that you're using, and you can just head glitch them the entire time. They're not able to do damage to you, and the other adds in this whole area don't come to the area you're at. So just make sure you knock out this area first, and then if you want to take out this champion, you can, or you can go ahead and take out all the adds and come back to these champions. It really doesn't matter at all, because the 2 champs, they don't hit hard at all. The adds in this area hit harder than anybody, and then once you move up to the second phase, which is this back area, that's when you'll have another Minotaur running at you, which you want them to run. You don't want them to start booming, because their booms hurt a lot. And then after that, you just start, spraying whatever gun you have for ad clear, take them out, and then again, the final champion that you have in this room, you can also head glitch them as well. They're not able to hit you, so you can literally just chill right here the whole time, get them to do their little mechanic. I'm going to go through this area one more time just so we can see how the pattern of it flows out, because it's all the same rhythm every time you come in here. Just as long as you make sure you get the Minotaur to not boom and start meleeing you, then you can rush in there and just have your way with them, because they're only trying to melee. Now I'm going to run through this area again, show you the exact same mechanic, where we're going to take out the 3 goblins first. I'm going to charge my grenade, I'm going to throw it, they're going to sit in it, then I'm going to run to my grenade, because standing inside your grenade is what I've always said. Having grenades you can stand in are the most valuable, because you have shielding around you that does damage, and you can just sit there basically, and they're going to come to you and stand in it too, while you're completely safe the whole time. There it is again, they rushed in trying to melee. Whether they hit me or not, I can take one hit. But with Telesto, like I said, I can just plant traps and it's good to go. I can take out these back adds if I want to, and now I just have this champion to deal with, and I own this entire area, so I can do the head glitch, take this champion out. Sometimes it can play out different, like right here. I'm going to throw a bad grenade, but I'm always going to run to my grenade, because that's the safest spot I can be at. Start spraying it down with Telesto, that way anybody that rushes towards me is going to get hit by that grenade. And it's always important to keep that little wall between you and the champion, or this back rock that I'm hanging behind. There I am planting the traps with Telesto. I need to get ammo. I have special ammo finder, and since I don't have a HUD on, I need to know how much ammo I have. I know I at least got 6 or 7 right there, so I'm good to go. I got him to aggro, follow me behind the rock, take him out again with special finisher, that way I can make sure I have plenty of special ammo. And now I have just me and the champion to deal with, so I could go take out the adds, or I could chill back here and take this champion out. You'll see that I got it to melee me by doing that mechanic where I get close to it, so that gives me a little more time to station myself to get ready to do DPS, and I always reload my weapons after every time I do damage, and that's why I use fast reloading weapons, to always prepare myself for when that dude's going to put his shield back up. Hit him again with the shots, do the finisher with a little spray at the end, and now I'll just have back ass to take care of. There's going to be one more Minotaur. Pay attention after you kill every ad, because when that attrition drops, you need to run and jump into it, because attrition will keep healing you for around like 3 seconds after you touch it, no matter if you're hit or after you touch it. So knowing that means I can just be safe for a second and get that dude to rush me, start doing hop shots with the mulligan, which we'll get more into later. There's all kinds of situations in this game outside this Nightfall where having that hip fire explosive damage and with the mulligan procking is just great for a survival tool. We'll get into a lot of situations of that later, but as far as this area with this loadout, that's the fastest way you can carve your way through it. Just take that champ out and head on to this area. This third phase can always play out randomly, so we're going to go over it and study it quite a bit. But right here I'm going to use rockets. You'll see my rocket wasn't loaded. Luckily I have alloy casing, which is going to double the reload speed if I can't get my field prep reload off. And having the high handling lets me throw it out before they're able to down me and get that shot off just that much faster. That's why I always go alloy casing or any fast reload perk that I can have on a weapon. I'm usually going for that all the time, because when you're pushing in fast and up close, Sometimes things can just hit the fan, and you'll be glad that you have those reload perks on your side, whether it be drop mag or alloy casing or whatever the case may be that doesn't require you to have to hit it like a crit shot to get it to proc or something. Those are always beast perks to have. In this situation, I only have one rocket, so I realize that right after I realize it's not reloading. So I start throwing Telesto down, and Telesto, with its high handling, allows me to sweep 3 at a time. Then I have those back ones that are trying to chill up. I can just spray them down and knock all of them out, pick my attrition up, that area is finished. Throw a grenade right here. Now I don't have any grenade, which I don't need one right here anyways. I'm going to run through, throw my rocket, do that fill prep reload, which is hella fast to do. Keep pushing, keep spraying Telesto no matter what the situation is, and always do diagonal shots. Don't ever start hopping forward or, sideways. Always go in a diagonal type movement, because ads at this light level will catch on to what you're doing before you even know where you're going to be heading. They just know where to start shooting at, and that's one of the hard parts about master difficulty, is their prediction and knowing what you're about to do, because they test this stuff over and over. So you're trying to find the strategy to where the ads aren't going to be able to foresee what you're going to be doing, basically. And when you do those diagonal hops, as you're seeing right here, I just keep carving my way all the way to the bottom of that area. It might look like I'm just carving my way through here all easy peasy, but you do have to learn the mechanic on how you can jump, because these ads will, no joke, melt me in like 2 shots, especially if all of them connect, or it can take up to 4 if they don't all connect and just one of the 3 little, balls that come out of their guns hit me. But having precise movement, and then there's the mulligan, the hip fire shots. Every time you do that, you get them to react by either running away and shooting, or to get them just to stop shooting and start jumping around or whatever. But you're getting a reaction out of them by doing that. So it might not look like a pretty shot, but by doing that, it does pay off and can get you out of a lot of situations, and even do chip away damage because of splash damage that it offers, and then mulligan refunding some of those shots. I do those type of shots so much, so with the fact that I can get mulligan on this, I was super thrilled whenever I found out that was an option, because a lot of people think about, mulligan, and it doesn't sound that exciting to them, but when you're putting it into play in some of the hardest combat you can get in the game, a lot of the time it's going to get you out of those situations. I'm not saying you're always going to survive those situations, but getting 18 to 25 rounds of just that free damage being refunded, as if it's just that much longer before you get to reload again, it'll seriously pay off. And it's a really vital tactic everybody should learn, even though it's not the most pretty shots. But since I have to use a scout rifle because of the anti-barrier, and since pulse rifles do longer time to kills and don't have the explosive round damage to do the shared damage, this enhances the CQC side of it, and this weapon's already great at range. So the fact that I can get enhancement for these type of shots, when you're in this kind of combat and they can down you in 1 or 2 shots, you can't sit there and make your shots all lined up and pretty on crit and aim down sights. You have to be moving around shots to dodge them while throwing damage out, and those hip fires often aren't that accurate, but the fact that they're refunded and the splash does damage, it's the most enhancement that that role can give it for that kind of a role that that weapon can play when it's already good at range. Rapid hit is only good when you're shooting at ranged targets. It gives it that faster reload and stuff, but you're not at any risk of death in those situations. However, you are at risk of death when you have to push with a scout rifle, and one of the most crucial tactics you can use is the hip fire shots, where you have to hop around and just shoot around targets to get them to miss their shots, or get them moving, or staggering them, or whatever you got to do. The more refund you can get on that, the more rounds you can get out, the more better it is in that situation. I'm not saying you're never going to be close quarters and hitting rapid hit, but I do know when you're getting shot at by enemies that can immediately down you, like I said, you're not going to be able to aim down sight and line every one of your shots up to get that perk proccing to where it's even going to be of use to you. But if you're getting more rounds refunded, you can get 20 rounds of that with the appended mag. If you're trying to hop around and stay alive, and you can get even just 1 more shot refunded to you, that's way more of a benefit than what rapid hit is going to do in that situation. And you can't get in that situation with rapid hit because the perk is basically useless at that point. It's not going to proc on body shots or give you the refund on those. And if you're pushing in and trying to go aggressive and you have no other choice but that, I promise you, if you're doing hard master level type stuff, or if you're under light, or if you're just trying to go for massive kill counts to outkill somebody else, you're going to use this tactic a ton. And the fact that it can get more rounds in it and enhance it over a gun that is already good at range, rapid hit is just not going to be a choice for me in that situation. I would much rather have more rounds to be able to do hop around fight than to get a little bit faster reload at range. But I get it, some might not understand it yet, but when you start getting to this level of gameplay and that much aggro, these shots aren't, like I said, they're not going to look pretty a lot of the time, but they do work. in way more situations than just in this Nightfall in the entire game. Especially in lower light activities, these hipfire shots take ads out extremely quick, and again, you get a ton of them refilled, but I'm just not a huge fan of rapid hit. There might be some situation where I would appreciate it over the mulligan, but the fact that I can still get refunded on shots that are long range, maybe there's enemies running around, anytime, especially on console, that you can get refunded any type of ammo because shots just aren't always going to be as clean as like PC, it really comes in handy. And then when you mix it with a rocket launcher and a fusion rifle, I mean, you got ultimate ad clear in majority of situations in the game, such as this first half of this segment right here. Every time I hop down, there's not a faster way I can do this area unless I want to just use my scout rifle the whole time, or if I don't have any ammo and have to use a scout rifle. But if I have Telesto ammo or rocket ammo, the fastest way you're going to clear it every time is by doing those diagonal, carving your way down to the very bottom until you clear every ad out, such as right here. You have Telesto ammo, you just start spraying it, start moving all the way diagonal, start using your scout rifle if you have no other ammo, do those hop shots, pop them out of the way, get refunded, stay agile the entire time. You don't ever want to be moving around without shooting, which is another reason the explosive rounds are good, because you can still hop around and do some type of damage whether you're hitting them or not, or just getting that splash damage. But most of the time you'll have ammo in this area, but if not, you still have a tool to help you. There are tons of ways that every combat scenario can play out when you're doing a speed run especially. You might think you have it all planned out, but everything can always change, and that's just the randomness of Destiny. Whether you know a strategy or not, you always got to have backup plans and just tools that get you out of situations when you're in them. And that's the main purpose I'm showing this over and over, so that when you go and start doing your run, you understand everything that can happen, and it doesn't always play out how you can foresee it, because if you miss a shot or if you make one wrong move into a direction that gets you in trouble, you have to have tools in your loadout that offer both beast properties and some kind of survival property to have a backup plan when things don't go your way. You need something that covers you when you're in CQC combat more than you do when you're in range combat, where it's not that risky. Now, when it comes to this area, you'll see a ton of people just hanging out on the opposite side and firing across, which is what I started to do as well whenever I first launched in here, because I wanted to see how the ads reacted, where they went. And then after a while I realized this is not beast mode at all. This is boring mode, and there's a way to figure it out to go faster. I have a version that I use when I'm playing just the strike mode or the regular Nightfall version, and that's the version that I wanted to implement into the master one, but I had to figure out a few things first, and how many ads there are when the champion is in most aggro mode, to where he has the most chance of hitting me and stuff. But playing like this is just not that fun for me. There's always a more beast way to go about it, and you just have to figure it out, and also just figure out your own personal strategy. That's the most fun that I really have, is sitting out here and just figuring out, wiping over and over, trying to figure out a strategy that is only specific to something that I know that nobody else does, that gives me benefits in my speed kill runs, or if I'm doing competitive speed killing with other players on the team. Most of them are going to be chilling back here with a bow or a scout rifle or something, when I'm just going to go ahead and just hop across and to take everybody out and increase my kill count and my overall time speed as a squad. So knowing your own strategies is really fun to do once you get into it. So now what I'm going to do is rewind it back. We're going to start at the first half all the way to the second half and show you how it all plays out. So same thing with the Telesto, same thing with Sleepless. If you have a squad running with you, you're just going to blow them away right here. So you take them out. You have other teammates firing with you probably as well. You're going to use your mulligan, your hip fire shots with the explosive rounds to go ahead and finish them off when they're in that weakened state. And as soon as the dialogue ends, that's your cue to jump across. And then as soon as you jump across, you can nade where I threw that rocket to take that Scion out. Or if you jump before the dialogue ends, know that you're going to have 2 Scions jump down the level that you're at right now. But if you wait till the dialogue is over, the 2 Scions have already jumped down and started making their way back up the hill. And you can just start spraying your way all the way to the top. So it really depends on if you want to, do it before the dialogue ends or after. But that's the 2 ways that it'll always play out. And then once you get to the very top, your teammates are probably just going to be chilling in the back still and not understanding how they just blew through that area in the blink of an eye pretty much. But it works every time when you have the perfect ad clear roll to perform the strategy. And that's why I use the alloy casing on the Sleepless rocket launcher, because what'll happen is when the dialogue ends, I'm going to throw it, my alloy casing reload because I can't do the field prep while launching across, throw another rocket down here or the grenade, and then same thing, just carve my way all the way up the hill, and then boom, you just blew through this entire area while your teammates are chilling back there still shooting across. A super's faster, but you need it for the next area. Now all you have to do is take out the champion, and you don't want to go head to head with him because he will melt you instantly, so you want to get a head glitch on him, which he can still hit you at this angle. So you have to make sure that you have it lined up just perfectly, and you're able to stagger him before he's able to lock on to you, because he'll eventually learn what you're doing, and you'll see he'll hit me with a couple of them, but I'm able to stagger him before he hits me. And then as soon as you see that little icon for you to finish him go above his head, make sure you take off immediately, because you don't have very much time before he'll start trying to stomp you, or get back in his shooting mechanic again. So as soon as you see it, immediately haul ass to him, hit him with a special finisher, so you make sure you have plenty of ammo for this next segment, and you should have your super back in well enough time to prepare for this next segment, which is going to have 2 champions, but we only have 1 unstoppable melee. Being at this light level, you're not going to be able to take these champions out both at the same time. It's just not going to happen. You can't put out enough DPS, basically. And if you don't have unstoppable weapons and you're using Telesto but need that anti-barrier weapon for your primary, you have to do it this way. And there's 2 versions that we're going to go over. First, you need to learn how to move around if things hit the fan, and that's what we're going to go over with first, is if things don't go right, how do you need to be moving, and this is how you don't want to do it. You get blown backwards by staying up close, you don't have your super ready, or you didn't throw your super, you have dogs coming out because you didn't take care of them right away, which need to be, right away basically. You don't need to have any dogs. And then you run into this situation where they pinch you, and then boom, you're dead, and you're like, how in the hell am I going to finish this area? Well, that's when you need to practice how the dogs move, or how any ad moves, especially when they're blasting at you, and that's what we're going to show right here. So you got to make sure that you're cutting always in the shape of a C, and don't ever arc your way around this whole area. Every time you jump forward, you need to immediately cut, but still going the same way around this entire area. So you'll see as I'm jumping, if I start getting more in like a oval type of jump, I'm putting myself at better risk of getting hit. But to get through it without getting hit and just decreasing that all together, if you start cutting real hard, like every time I'm jumping, it's always cut and jump straight by using traction, which I highly recommend using traction on just every build. It really helps in these kind of situations, or just maneuvering around a map in general. But knowing this is going to keep you alive if you need to wait and charge a grenade, or you just don't want to die, or you can completely run out of this entire area, which is what I'm going to show you now. I learned this area when I was taking forever trying to figure out how to do it with Telesto and an anti-barrier weapon with no unstoppable weapon, by only using the unstoppable melee. I was like, how am I going to stay alive in here being 966? There's just no way. But then I figured out you can actually make them come back to you by running out of this room, and that's what we're really going to show you here. This is the longest way. I don't recommend doing it this way, but if you don't know how to do it the second way I'm going to show you, then this way is a surefire way you can get it done. What you do is you run all the way back here, and what happens is some other Vex goblins with no heads are going to spawn out, and they'll be doing battle with the champions unless they see you. If they see you, they're going to start chasing you, so make sure you go far enough away to where they go deeper into that cave while you chill out here and they do battle with the champions basically. So if you didn't kill at least one champion, you're going to need to keep luring that champion all the way back to where you just were and kill it back there, because both of them usually won't follow you. It'll usually just be the one that you weakened. So what you do is you chill back here, you kill it. Now once you kill it, you're going to run all the way back, and then you're going to make your way back and try to sneak your way around the champion, and that's what I'm going to show you here. So if you haven't killed the champion yet, lure him all the way back here and kill it, but that's the second one that hasn't been killed. You want to jump over his head and head all the way back into the room. You're not going to be able to charge the plate because he's going to run right back in here, but what's going to happen is you're going to be able to sneak and hide while he runs back, because if he sees you like he does here, he's just going to do that over and over. So what you want to do is lure him back out. When he finally comes out of here, he won't follow you all the way. You have to like keep meeting him halfway, otherwise he'll keep going back into the room. But you can try to sneak from him right here by just going all the way back in here without doing the whole making him lure back and try to sneak in. But he keeps doing this over and over again, and you'll think that you almost have it, and then boom, fuck, I gotta turn all the way back around and try it again. So we run back in, we try to sneak in again, and then I'm going to try to charge it again, and then I realize it's still not going to work, because again, he's going to turn around and always just see it. So I was like, dang, how's this going to work out? So this is what has to happen. It doesn't work any other way. You have to lure him all the way back out, and then when he finally gets to you, you're going to jump over his head, and then you're going to hide behind the left pillar as soon as you enter the room. So as soon as you enter here, don't go to the plate at all, don't go anywhere else, just hurry up before he comes back in, and hide behind this pillar right here. Don't let him see you at all. He'll eventually walk over to you, but he won't actually see you at all. He'll just stop at a certain point, which is what I'm going to show you right here, because he'll do this the same way every time. He's going to jump all around the map a few times. It's going to take him probably 2 minutes before he finally decides, okay, I'm going to go ahead and chill back here. It'd be nice if you could just kill him, but if you kill him, like I said, it's going to summon more ads, and you're going to have to do this all over again. So eventually he'll walk around, you can strafe around, charge it, and then by that time, you will for sure have your melee, and don't do what I did and run out of the freaking room, because that's what I did, and I screwed it all up, and I was like, man, I was so mad right here, dude, because you have to kill him to get, platinum or whatever, so I was like, well, that ruins that, so I try to wipe, that doesn't work either, so I end up having to go all the way back over just to get footage for this part, and me actually killing it. So, do this way, this is the second way, and the best way. You do the Nova Bomb, you should throw 3 rockets after that, and it should kill him. That's why I say if you have the God roll with fill prep and cluster, I can reload that thing so fast, and it should go down. And then you use the cutting technique that I just showed you, where you run, keep doing diagonals and cutting, and then finally you'll get right here, you'll sneak around, he'll do the same thing again, and you don't have to run out of the room. If you can just wait and strafe around that pillar forever, he'll eventually stop and do what you're seeing right here. So you don't actually have to leave the room, jump over him, run back to the room. You can stay in this room the entire time and just do that and just keep circling your way around that pillar, and eventually he'll just stop and give up and pretend like he doesn't see you. You do the melee, and then you just finish him off. Try to finish him by doing a finisher, because if he blasts you once, you're more than likely going to get killed from it, from the burn damage. And then when you get to this area, if you want to skip this area altogether, just the first champion, not the entire area, all you gotta do is you run to the very back inside this radial area, and then hop back up and get killed by just some random ad, as you'll see right here. And then you'll respawn, and you can completely ignore fighting that whole wave. If you're not tripping about getting, platinum or whatever, you want to miss a champion, you can miss that one and fast forward it. This next strategy I'm going to show you is called hurting the ads, and that's pretty much what it is. What you do is you take care of the snipers first, since they're one of the biggest threats, and you chill here on this first group. As you'll see here, I'm just going to telesto them till they're dead, basically, because the other ads won't follow over here unless you run out there and then run back. Then they will. But what you're going to do is kill them, grab any ammo that you need, and then just, kind of chill right here for a second. Your goal is to try to get to this white rock and duck behind it so you can head glitch the champion that's going to happen right here, this white rock. Once you make your way right here, that most wanted target won't mess with you anymore, and then all the other ads in this area, including the champion, are all going to be stacked up right there. So it's important that you immediately run in, throw your grenade to kill the snipers, kill the first few ads that are in front of that area, and then make your way to this white rock as fast as possible. That's the whole goal, basically, because then they're all herded together and you can take them out a lot easier, whether it be a rocket launcher or a grenade or just whatever. And once you do this area, you're going to stand right here and you're going to shoot Kargan and wait for some dialogue to happen. Now once that dialogue happens, you're going to make sure you're already stationed right here at this area. As soon as the door glows, you're going to charge your grenade, throw it down at that door, immediately turn and fire at that door. That's going to take out the 2 snipers and all the ads that are coming out of that first door to your left. And then the PS4 cuts off 4 seconds of my gameplay, but you rock it right here, it takes care of a couple. You just telesto the rest of them or whatever you got to do, basically, and then just chill right here, and every ad again will herd themselves all the way right here, and you just basically chill behind cover and clear every ad out first, so you have nobody chipping away at your health when you're trying to take them out. It's just best to clear them out. After that, grab your ammo and head all the way back across the opposite side of the map, and then you're going to find one of the many areas that you can head glitch the anti-barrier champion first before the unstoppable, because a lot of the time if you do the unstoppable first, it'll spawn ads on the second wave, so it's best just to learn it on the first one as well. That way you just have it set in and you never make the mistake of taking him out first. But as soon as you're done with the anti-barrier, let him chase you around a corner somewhere, run up a melee. You'll be able to stagger him before he staggers you when you have the unstoppable melee, and then super it, dump all your heavy, and clear it as fast as possible, because if it can hit you with the melee at this light level, you're automatically going to get killed. So don't get hit by it, just throw all your heavy out. Grab the ball, head to the left side while you're taking out some of the ads. That way there's not a lot of fire coming at you. Take out those slashers, and then run up, take out the ads, and then head glitch yourself on this anti-barrier champion. This part's really easy. There's really just no, randomness to this area. It's a lot of running around side to side depending on where the ads are. But after that, telesto the ground to plant a trap, throw your grenade out. You could have a champion come out of that door. It's random when it happens, but it didn't happen that time. But take out every ad on that side of the map, and then after that, you're going to work your way to take out the ads on the opposite side of the map, which there are going to be snipers, so you just prepare for that. there's really not a lot to explain on this. It's really just about your own survival and peeking out and, you know, dropping enemies pretty much, because you can't afford to go beast mode on this area because of how many champions are coming out. You have 3 to worry about, and at this light, they'll just down you way too quick. And it's a pain to keep doing this part over and over again when it's not even that hard of an area, but it just is too risky to play aggressive at that light level. And I just really hate this area, to be honest with you. It's just a really slow-paced and boring, just head glitch area because of the fact that it takes so many rounds and hella DPS to down any of these champions. You'll see what I'm talking about when you come in here. It's just, you gotta really just pace your time in here, make sure you're head glitching everybody, and the lower that they get in health, the champions and stuff, the more that another champion will try to block your shot and get in front of it. So you'll learn a lot of stuff like this as it plays out, and like I said, you'll probably hate this area just as much as I do for the fact that you can't go beast mode at 966 light. It just doesn't happen. If you try to do it, then the most random thing will just happen to you. But after you kill the 2 anti-barriers, again, you're just going to rush the unstoppable. They're the most easiest ones to kill because, I mean, you just run up, you hit them, it always, you know, staggers them. However, if it's an ogre unstoppable, you got to be really kind of strategic with those and pretty much like hold your grenade with the controverse to get a little bit of armor, because the ogre will sometimes still stomp after you hit him with the unstoppable melee, which is really annoying when you're trying to do a clean run. But after you kill the unstoppable, it's going to summon those ads. You're going to head glitch this same anti-barrier from afar, but if you get too close, kind of have to get into a perfect distance to where the other one doesn't aggro on you and register in his range, you know. So after that, you just kill the ads from afar. There's some slashers, you slash them down. You're gonna head glitch the final anti-barrier, but it's not really the final one because you still gotta go back and get that ball. So this area is still not finished. It's a really lengthy time when you're doing this area, but after you kill that anti-barrier, you do the head glitch on it, you blow it to hell. You're gonna go grab that ball, and then as you make your way forward, that cabal is gonna drop out of the sky, which is another anti-barrier. All you do is you head glitch him on that little curb right in front of him. You just keep doing that over and over. You just down him or whatever. No ads are going to come out. At that point, you can just go throw the ball in, and then the door's going to open, and you're going to see a ton of Vex come out. Just throw a grenade to Telesto the doorway. They're really easy to kill. And then when you're falling down to the boss fight, you can also throw a grenade into Telesto, and it gives you points for all those ads down there because you touched them. Even though Kargan kills them, it gives you the points for it to increase your overall score. And then, again, grenades you can stand in, and Telesto to plant the trap. Do both of those to be able to charge that first plate without them bombarding it to make you have to wait and, you know, charge it all over again. The Kargan boss battle is probably the easiest battle of this entire Nightfall. You can head glitch him on top of this block that I'm sitting on. When ads come out, wait before you throw your heavy ammo because Kargan will go back there with the ads. So you can do Kargan damage with your heavy ammo and ad clear with it. Same with Telesto. Just use only your primary on Kargan, and then use your special and your heavy depending on how much you have on all the ads. But if you have some to spare, there's a ton of bricks laying around stuff, you could probably go ahead and do a little bit extra damage to Kargan to speed up the boss fight. But always kill all the ads first and then go back to your head glitch area, sit there and do the head glitch. Whenever the doors start glowing, it's going to summon ads, but then eventually you're going to get to where you get to charge these plates. I recommend this plate first and clear ads. The whole goal here is how fast can you clear ads while they're rushing towards your plate. That's the name of the game of this whole segment. So just keep clearing, throw rockets if you need to, make sure you use your healing rift when you need to because you don't get health regeneration. Throw your grenade. If you gotta be backed out, just don't risk it, just back out a little bit. I almost got killed right here because that second shot was supposed to go off but it didn't. So I dropped my rift. He's still not dead, but then I realized I can go ahead and use him for a special finisher to get a little more ammo. And just keep throwing rockets at the doorways, keep just spraying the ground to keep them away from the charge plate, because if they step on it, it's going to glow red, and you got to, you know, keep charging it over again as it turns red again. Use your Nova Bomb if you need to, but try to save it for the second or last plate, and always keep one of the flamethrower dudes alive. They normally don't come over towards you, and if you have 1 or 2 of them hanging out, it usually prevents ads from respawning until you actually kill them. It'll still summon ads, but it takes a little while for the game to register that it needs to summon ads if you leave some of them alive. And also, if you don't have any weapon to down their shield, your explosive round actually will take their health off underneath their shield, but their shield will stay charged, but you can still kill them and blow them up just by shooting them with explosive rounds, as I showed in the scout rifle video versus the blast furnace, where I showed that in that Nightfall. It works the same as in this Nightfall, but just keep doing that. Keep clearing ads as fast as you can. Keep throwing rockets. Just keep them away from the plate. Also, if you're going to shoot one of the shielded enemies, make sure there's ads around, because you can use their explosion as like a mini bomb. So you'll see that I always waited, and then right when the ad comes, then I pop the shield to go ahead and damage the red bar that comes next to him. And again, always use grenades you can stand inside of, such as right there. They're a lifesaver, the best type of grenade you can have in PvE combat. But that 3-plate phase in Kargan battle is really the hardest thing, that in the final wave before you kill Kargan. But after that, you can find head glitch areas. Kargan is going to be moving around a lot more. All the grenades, you need to pay attention to where you land so you don't land on top of them. And that's why it's also a good idea to head glitch to where you're in an area where those grenades can't climb over the object that you're head glitching behind. And then again, when the ads come out, save your heavy ammo and everything for when Kargan goes back there with the ads. Just start spraying the entire place down. Waste all your heavy and all your special on these ad clear phases, because once they start taking over, it becomes just a real headache, because you got to keep popping your rift to get your health back, and you just want to take them out as fast as possible where you can get back in your head glitch area. And you also don't want to try to do Kargan damage when you're trying to dodge all the grenades he throws across the floor. You don't want to be getting shot at ads and then accidentally step into a grenade and get hit by an ad. So the faster you can take all the ads out, the better, because Kargan himself isn't that difficult to defeat. It's the ads on top of dodging the grenades that Kargan throws, on top of the damage that Kargan can shoot. Even though he's not that accurate at the grenade launcher that he has, he can still hit you whenever you're on the move places, especially after the charge plate phase. He becomes a lot more accurate, he shoots a lot more often, so the ads are really the only game changer here. The faster you take them out, you just get back in your head glitch area and try to do as much damage as you can. Save your Nova Bomb for ads, don't use it on Kargan unless you know Kargan is about to die. I don't have a HUD on, so I know that I need to save my super for whenever all the big waves come out with all the shielded people. And you also got to be aware of Kargan, because Kargan will come and stand beside you and stomp you off the map or kill you at this light level if he does stomp. So it really depends on how close you are to Kargan, but always keep an eye out. Always try to stay in this back area the whole time. This back area is a life-saving area, because if you go out in the middle of the battlefield, you're going to get popped by one of those ads, and it's just a real risky area to be around, and you don't want to have to redo this over and over again. It's an easy boss fight, but little mistakes can happen. But like I was saying at the beginning of this video, anybody in this game with dedication and patience is able to solo in this game. It just really depends on how good do you want to get at the game, because you're only going to get as good as the stuff you play most often. That's why I spend a lot of time in Master Nightfalls or Nightfalls in general when I like to play and there's no content really going on and I'm kind of just bored with the base game activities. This is a great place to polish up your skills, even if you're not at the level to complete it yet or not. The fact that you keep coming back and staying in it more and more, when you go to the regular game after this, it becomes just a walk in the park. You're able to take so many more hits. You're able to maneuver around ads because they don't shoot as often or as hard as they do in Master Tier Nightfalls. And you'll start learning things about how to conserve your ammo, when's a great spot to use a super, when's a great spot to throw a rocket, all types of tactical tips that are just hard to explain or tell somebody, that you just only find out from insight of doing things for yourself. You'll learn to correct and think fast on the move, such as right here. I'm just throwing these Telesto shots to the ground in case they run into it, because I'm in a really tight spot where I almost got killed. Saving my grenade in case something like that were to come up. Just little things like that. And then, using your rift because you don't get health regen, knowing when to save it. The real precise movement and tactics come from doing master type or harder activities where you drop your light and try to complete them. That's where all your skill is going to come from, and where it's going to show over somebody else who doesn't even get involved in things like this. You're just going to have a lot of trouble progressing past a certain limit when you can't learn things you don't know you can learn, because you don't put yourself in the situations to ever find out you can learn them. And that's really what I'm trying to get at. It's more than what I could even tell you about. That's really what these Guardian Bootcamp videos are all about, is trying to encourage or inspire other people to start getting into this stuff, because it really does kind of just take the mystique away from some solo players when you realize it's just that they spend most of their time doing this stuff, so it becomes easier over time, and you learn things that might seem beast to know, but you just have to learn them in order to complete some of this stuff. And if you don't know it, you'll eventually just run into it to figure it out, just from the experience of completing these over and over again and running the same situation, wiping it and over and over and over until you know the perfect method or perfect strategy to complete something. It just takes a lot of time staying in there and a lot of time running it over and over. You'll just figure out things that you didn't know the first 10 minutes, and then an hour later you'll figure out more things, and then 4 hours later you'll figure out even more stuff, and it just keeps layering, and you just form these amazing strategies and overall survival tactics and the ability to pull off shots that most people can't pull off because they've never been in enough situations to practice those type shots, because they've never needed to practice those type of shots. But you have to learn a lot of these shots in order to down enemies that shoot a lot faster, a lot more accurate, they hit a lot harder. Sometimes you can't get in that perfect shot, and you got to learn how to shoot in these odd, weird angles. And that's really what it comes down to, is pushing your own self-limit and then keep pushing it even farther past that. And then by the time you get to that level to where you're just crushing through all these situations, you're going to go back to that base game, and you're going to be doing just some ridiculous stuff, staying inside the combat with your shield busted half the time, but you've done so much experience doing master level tiers type stuff that you know how to build at that point. You know how important your recovery is, your recharge rates, how to balance it all to where you want to put a build on that allows you to keep pushing at certain limits, and then you're able to focus on what really matters in your build, how to just manage it all pretty much, because you're going to get used to a fighting at a certain pace that when new weapons come out or whatever, you're only going to care about how fast the weapons are able to push and how well your build is able to keep obliging how fast you want to push in the game as well. But I know that if I can do it, anybody else can do it, and that's really what it comes down to, is anybody can become beast. It's just how much do you want it in the game, and that's what I try to show in this video, is how to just apply some tactics to get anybody started into it. Sorry if this wasn't the most entertaining video, but it's kind of hard to put these videos together and tell somebody what to do and how things play out unless you really just go out and try it yourself. But hopefully once you get in the battle and you start competing against these harder tier ads, it just will all unlock. You'll start, unlocking these insane strategies and so much aggressive combat in the base game where you're just crushing all kinds of kill numbers. You're going to feel like you're unkillable. You're going to be on another level with your kill counts, and that's really where it all spawns from. It's the reason that I kill fast today. And I know exactly what caused the ability for me to do that, and it's really from playing higher tier activities and playing with builds that I normally don't use at those higher tier activities, and then things that are all stacked against me. And then once you figure all that out, you're going to know things that other people don't know, and then when you try to explain those things to other people who've never been a part of that or involved in it or never pushed themselves, they're just not going to get it. They're going to still have that base game mindset where like Rampage is the best thing ever for them. And when you speak about weapon builds or weapon loadouts or perks on weapons, some of it won't make sense to others, but you'll try to explain it to them and they still won't get it. But you know, because of the hard situations you put yourself in, just how crucial and beast those are. But somebody that's in, base game all the time, they might just see like, oh, I just need Rampage, because Rampage will just proc on everything during, that kind of combat. But it doesn't work like that on master tier difficulties, especially when you're under light, because you can't chain perks like that, and you need more accuracy perks to keep you running and gunning, because missing a shot can break a whole strategy apart and lead to a death. So there's just a lot of, different factors you have to do, like why I use Icarus grip on my Sleepless, and it's a rocket launcher. You think, oh, why does he need that? Well, it gives me a little bit faster pull speed and a lot more agility when I'm in the air, and getting those shots off right last minute are a huge lifesaver, or making them that much more accurate. Same with Icarus grip on fusion rifles. I never really do like damage buff perks because pushing that fast on ads requires precision accuracy, and a lot of times I'm going for that accuracy over a damage buff. But anyways, there's just so much to learn, Guardians. And it's hard to, not try to sound like that guy that knows a lot of stuff about a video game that a lot of people like, because you get targeted at that point. They think, oh, you're just some know-it-all dick, or whatever. But you will just see what I'm talking about. The more that you push yourself, the boundaries you are capable of doing, you literally wouldn't believe the amount of people who've went from trolling my channel to then playing with me to then realizing, oh shit, he knows what he's doing, to then they understand it, they start building out how I recommended, and then they unlock this other type of combat they didn't even know existed before, that certain builds will allow that they weren't able to do before. But hopefully this video made a lot of sense to you. I know it was a long video and it's hard to tell somebody and put a video like this together, but I did it the best that I could. And that was the whole purpose of that solo vid that I did yesterday, was showing you how you can formulate strategies even at a lower light level and still beast. But I appreciate all you Guardians all the time, this whole community becoming beast. And I'll see you all in the next video next time.
In space.